Just ahead on CTV News. School starts next week in the county. Find out what you need to know before sending your child back. Plus, the city of College Park is looking to address a major parking shortage. And some lucky kids get a chance to ice skate with the county's fire and EMS department.
We'll be out there skating around and having fun with the kids, and I think they're going to put an obstacle course out there, so we might have to navigate some obstacles, but just having fun.
These stories and more on CTV News, starting now.
Good evening. This is CTV News for August 19th. I'm Jonathan Hunter.
And I'm Michaela Newton. Thanks so much for joining us. Well, topping our news tonight, a fatal collision leaves 2 people dead and 5 others sent to a local hospital. The accident occurred around 1 p.m. on the intersection of McCormick and St. Joseph Drive in Largo.
And in the video on your screen, you'll see one car flipped over. Law enforcement has closed the roadway for cleanup and the investigation. CTV News will keep you updated as the story develops.
And as back to school season in Maryland, Calvert, Montgomery, and Prince George's counties begin on Tuesday, August 26th, followed by Allegheny County on August 27th. Now, the remaining 9 counties start school the day after Labor Day, and according to Maryland Matters, records show staffing levels in some of Maryland's largest school districts, including Baltimore City and Baltimore, Montgomery, and Prince George's counties, remain about the same as last year. Meanwhile, education leaders are still working to address the state's teacher shortage, tackle chronic absenteeism, and move forward with the blueprint for Maryland's future.
And with kids heading back to school, doctors say it's more important than ever to make sure they're vaccinated. Diseases like measles, whooping cough are now coming back. As cases disappear, some parents assume shots are not needed. But when vaccination rates drop, outbreaks follow. Pediatricians urge families to check with their doctor and to get kids caught up before school starts.
Well, Bowie State University is marking 160 years in 2025 and looking boldly to the future. The university just unveiled its Boldly Forward strategic plan, a roadmap through 2029 that builds on its legacy as Maryland's first HBCU while pushing toward innovation, equity, and student success. The plan reimagines the student experience, centers academic excellence, and ensures long-term growth and impact. Meanwhile, a push for justice in College Park's Lakeland neighborhood, where urban renewal once wiped out 2/3 of the community, is gaining momentum. Restorative justice advocates presented a new report urging the city to fund college tuition, improve transit, and compensate families for homes lost decades ago. Researchers say some were paid just $1 for property worth over $20,000. The report also recommends reconnecting displaced families and investing in schools. We spoke with one Lakeland resident who spoke about the progress of the reparations.
Our job now is to put together what the city and the residents feel are the priorities. You know, it's taken us 50 years to get this far. Hopefully it won't take us 50 years to put some substantial methods of repair in place.
Gross says a group of advocates is actively working to organize efforts based on what the city and its residents believe needs to be done.
And meanwhile, changes to parking enforcement could potentially come to the city of College Park. According to reports, the city is looking at ways to address its parking shortage. Reports indicate the city is looking at reducing the number of parking permits a household could receive in neighborhoods that require parking permits. City officials say the conversations around parking changes are just preliminary and nothing is set in stone. CTV News spoke to people locally to get their feelings about the parking in the city.
Yeah, it's always difficult. Sometimes it's very cramped, or it's hard to find where the parking spots are for the right places. And yeah, it's just not very convenient.
I just think it's a lot of students that are driving now, and when they want to go to a restaurant, they go and park in all those spaces. So it's just they've taken all the ground level street parking off, and so it really doesn't service the retail of the community, I don't think.
And you want to stay tuned to CTV News as we will have an interview with City Council member John Rigg on this issue. Local and federal officials are investigating a cargo ship explosion that occurred in Baltimore Harbor last night. The ship caught on fire not too far from where the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapsed back in March of 2024. The U.S. Coast Guard says there were 23 people on board. No one was hurt. Officials believe part of the Liberian cargo vessel exploded, causing the ship to catch on fire. Firefighters responded by both land and water.
Meanwhile, scary moments at Reagan National Airport yesterday morning after a fire alarm in the control tower caused the cancellation of all flights in and out of the airport. According to the Federal Aviation Administration, flights were stopped between 10:45 and noon. Investigators say there was no fire in the tower, but they did not say what triggered the alarm. No injuries were reported. Now, you might recall in January that DCA was the site of one of the nation's deadliest plane crashes when an Army helicopter collided with an American Airlines jet, killing all 67 people aboard both aircraft. And calling it the right opportunity, Governor Wes Moore's chief of staff announced he's stepping down to lead a Maryland nonprofit organization. Fagan Harris, who has been with Moore since the beginning of his term, has been tapped to be the next president and CEO of Abell Foundation, the Baltimore-based nonprofit aimed at improving the quality of life in Baltimore. Harris says it was the governor, who he considers a mentor, to take the position. He leaves his post on January 5th, and Harris is the 6th senior official to leave the Moore administration. In July, Transportation Secretary Paul Wiedefeld announced his retirement from state service.
More than 40% of the people arrested since federal law enforcement increased their presence in the district are undocumented immigrants. According to the White House, there have been more than 380 arrests since August 7th. More than 160 are people who came to this country illegally. White House officials say some of those arrested face additional charges such as assault and kidnapping. Of those arrested, it's not clear yet how many were arrested solely for their immigration status. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Jonathan Hunter.
And I'm Michaela Newton. Still to come.
This Bowie hair shop is breaking barriers. Coming up, I'll share how they're making people look and feel fabulous.
You gotta believe without seeing. You gotta keep going, keep breathing. When you face a day it feels like you're gonna break. You gotta believe without seeing. You gotta keep going, keep breathing. You face a day that feels like you're gonna break. So lean on the walls that love you, the guardian angels above you, and think about when peace just another color. Ooh, just another color. Just another color.
Welcome back. Maryland State Police are investigating a fatal crash in the county yesterday afternoon. Troopers arrived on Interstate 495 at Medical Center Drive shortly before 2 p.m. According to the investigation, the tire on the rear driver's side of a Dodge Ram 1500 had detached from the vehicle. It then entered the southbound lanes and struck a Lexus, and that vehicle collided with a barrier and guardrail. The driver of the Lexus, identified as Tammy Edwards, was pronounced dead on the scene. And you don't often see firefighters on ice skates, but that is exactly what happened today in Bowie. Several members of the Prince George's County Fire Department, who are a part of the agency's hockey team, took to the ice with young campers this afternoon. This was all a part of the Skate with the Hero Day, hosted in partnership with the department and Bowie Ice Arena. The campers not only had a chance to get on the ice with some emergency personnel, but they also learned some safety tips like the importance of having a working smoke alarm and having a fire escape plan at home.
Well, obviously we want to make sure that the kids feel comfortable with firefighters. That's why we have our firefighter in gear here, so that they understand that even when they see us in this gear, they're not afraid of us. We're here to help. We want to build good, solid community relations with these kids when they're young, So as they develop and continue to mature, they feel comfortable with the fire department, they feel safe, and they know that we're here to help them.
And what have you been learning since being here?
I've been learning how to do a lot better stops, skating better, faster, and getting better at tricks.
And Bowie Ice Arena has been hosting a summer camp for youth to learn how to skate since 1996. This is the first year that the camp has welcomed the county's fire department to their camp.
Well, a federal judge has blocked 2 Trump administration efforts to shut down diversity, equity, and inclusion programs in schools and university. Judge Stephanie Gallagher ruled the Education Department overstepped by threatening to pull federal funding from institutions that kept their DEI programs. That guidance had already been paused since April after multiple judges raised concerns, and last week's ruling came after a lawsuit filed by the American Federation of Teachers and the American Sociological Association earlier this year.
The U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals rules a provision in Maryland's digital ad tax is unconstitutional and violates free speech. All of this centers around a Maryland law that imposes taxes on big tech companies like Apple, Google, and Meta. The companies would get hit with a tax on its digital ads they sell in the state. The law also prohibited those companies from passing the tax onto consumers as a fee or surcharge. With this ruling, the court says the language in the law went too far. This case will now have to go back to the U.S. District Court.
Meanwhile, a federal judge has ordered a trial in a case over Maryland law banning out-of-state breweries from shipping to consumers. The lawsuit originally filed in July of 2023 involved a Baltimore County man and 2 breweries that were not allowed to ship to him because they're not located in Maryland. The law at issue only allows Maryland breweries to ship to buyers in the state and requires a brewery employee to make the delivery versus suing a shipping company like UPS or FedEx. The bench trial is set for December in Baltimore federal court.
And a Bowie hair shop is changing the game.
That's right. CTV's Anaya Falcon shares how MJB Holistic Hair Care is ensuring people don't sacrifice their health for beauty.
MJB Holistic Hair Care in Bowie is achieving styles like these without harmful chemicals. And one mom says she's grateful.
It's been nice coming here today for her to get her hair done and knowing that she would be taken care of in the best way possible and not just the conventional way.
A way that she says could have been the reason her and her daughter suffered from hair loss a few years ago.
We still don't have a good handle as to what occurred, but I figured that I would prefer to come to a place that is going to not make the matter worse.
Reportedly, Black people are at a higher risk for certain health issues linked to chemicals commonly found in hair care products. An unfortunate fact that the owner of MJB Holistic Hair Care is trying to reverse.
We wanted to kind of create a safe space for women of color to be able to come and still not risk their health for beauty.
At MJB Holistic Hair Care, they offer hair consultations, hair growth treatments, styling, and deep cleansing. Work that the owner says has an impact beyond the scalp.
That is how things get into your body, is through your skin, through your scalp. And so when we're putting the things on our hair, we're putting things on our scalp, it is actually absorbing into our bloodstream.
Bynum says that's why all of the products they use in her shop are plant-based.
A lot of people, especially with relaxers, they're like, oh, I'm just straightening my hair. But no, you're actually kind of putting your reproductive system at risk.
The owner says she hopes her services will educate and increase the health of community members.
With my daughter being just, a tween, I didn't want to take her somewhere where a lot of chemicals were going to be used. I just wanted her to have a experience where she's getting the care that she needs that's going to be lasting for her.
In Bowie, I'm Anaya Falcon, CTV News.
All right, Anaya, thanks so much. MJB Holistic Hair Care is starting a teens and tweens after-school program in September. Enrollment is open, but for more information, visit mjbholistichaircare.com. And still to come on CTV News, it's National Make a Will Month.
That's right, and whether you want to protect your assets or just want to prepare for the unexpected, our next guest is giving advice on where to start or where you can go to avoid those mistakes.
We'll be right back.
We are women first, but women with disabilities last.
During a military exercise, we crashed and I broke my neck.
When I was in the Air Force, an accident changed my life. I couldn't have imagined the injustices I would face.
Every day, women like me go to the doctor for annual checkups for conditions like breast cancer. Early detection saved my life. But women with disabilities face a cruel reality: inaccessible medical facilities and equipment.
In the 25 years since my injury, I have not seen a gynecologist. There's not one accessible OBGYN in my community.
I found lumps in my breast. I went to a doctor's office I was told was accessible, but when I got there, I couldn't get through the front door.
I don't know where I'd be today without access to testing. Our veterans deserve better. Help PVA fight for access at pva.org.
If words were enough, I would help you bear your burden. I would watch each child of yours grow strong and true. Teach them to read and to write and to sing, so that their voices be forgotten nevermore. If words were enough, I would sate your hunger, and you would know you are my sister, my brother, my child. If words were enough.
It's so hard to predict a sick kid who just keep getting sicker, but we needed to be together as a family. My family is my entire life. My family means the world to me.
When we're together and we have support from Ronald McDonald House, we can be a little stronger. They provide food and a place to rest your head, and they will help you through every step. That's what gets you through every day when you don't know how else you're gonna make it.
It makes you feel like you're not alone.
Welcome back. August is National Make a Will Month, and if you haven't done it yet, you're not alone. Studies show nearly 2/3 of Americans don't have a will, even though it can save families time, money, and heartache.
It also ties into the broader field of elder law, which deals with the unique legal needs that come with aging. And joining us this evening to talk about it is Natalie Peruka with Bird LLC. Good evening, Natalie. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. It's nice to be here.
So the first question that we wanted to ask you is really simple. What is elder law and what does it entail?
Well, elder law is a group of different law practices that has kind of developed over the years. You know, obviously it starts with estate planning, but as the needs became greater, you know, it includes things like Medicaid planning, Medicaid crisis or Medicaid pre-planning, different, you know, you get a financial advisor involved as well, and just kind of, it's a big area of law because it has lots of different little areas in there.
Absolutely. And out of all of those things that you mentioned, what should people prioritize first?
Well, I would say that the thing that most people end up needing and not having would be powers of attorney. Because people want to wait to have a power of attorney until they need it, and when you need it and you don't have it, it's too late. A power of attorney allows someone to make decisions for you when you can't make decisions for yourself. If you don't have one in place, then it becomes a more difficult task for someone to help you. They have to get a guardianship, and that takes time and more money. And powers of attorney are just so easy to do. It's just a matter of sitting down and doing it.
And then when it comes to a will, this is something that a lot of people, I guess, put on the back burner. It's something they really don't want to talk about. Talk about the importance of addressing this issue sooner rather than later.
Well, like anything else, the longer you wait, the more expensive and the more disastrous it could be if something that needs to be done. For an example that you could use is if you start hearing a noise in your car and you ignore it, by the time you get around to it, the problem is bigger and more expensive, and maybe even unsolvable. At that point. So waiting is the worst thing you can do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then how often should someone actually update their will?
Well, it depends, and that's your typical lawyer question. I would say that you want to review your will every 5 years. And you can review it without an attorney because you've already got it. You can just review and see whether or not if you had any major life changes or whether or not it's still meeting your needs. Obviously, if there is a major life change, you definitely want to review it then, regardless of whether 5 years have elapsed. But you know, as your children get older, maybe you don't need to list trustees to take care or guardians to take care of your children. So I would review your own will every 5 years, and obviously sit down with an attorney when you have a major life change to see if whether your will still fits your needs.
Mm-hmm. And then what would happen if someone was to pass away and there was not a will there?
Well, whether or not you know it or not, you do already have an estate plan, because the state of Maryland, and I'd probably say most states, have what's called intestacy statutes, where if you don't say what you want to have happen, there are laws in place. And those laws may work for some people, but if you've got a child that has special needs, you know, and they can't inherit directly without interrupting or messing up with the benefits that they're getting from the government, you don't want them to inherit directly, so you'd want something set up so that they could have their money funneled in a different direction to help them out. So there are laws in place that will divvy up your money, but your assets, but you have to determine whether or not they're going to work for you, because they're very broad and generic.
Yeah.
Right. You have to have a perfect family, non-blended, you know. So otherwise, things are surprising.
Yeah. What are some of the biggest mistakes that people actually make when it comes to planning for the future under elder law?
Waiting, because the longer you wait, the more that can go wrong. Kind of what I was mentioning before, there's pre-planning and then there's crisis planning. So if you don't have your powers of attorney and you need a power of attorney, well, now you've got a crisis and somebody's got to get a guardianship. If you want to protect assets and you end up needing major medical care, it's kind of almost too late to do anything. There are some strategies, but they get more expensive, they're harder to do, and it's just waiting is the worst thing to do.
And then beyond wills, what are some other tools that fall under the elder law?
Trusts are a big item. There are lots of different trusts out there. A trust is a tool. Some people come in and they say, I need a trust, and my first question is, why do you think you need a trust? Oftentimes it's because, a friend told me so, or my son told me that I need one. Other times in their conversation, we actually determine that a trust is something that they need. If you are trying to plan and protect assets from catastrophe, an irrevocable trust might be something that you want to look into. The best thing to do is to sit down with somebody and talk about what your needs are, what it is you want to accomplish, and then the professional will craft the plan that works best for you. There's no such thing as a cookie cutter. Kind of everybody's family situation, everybody's financial situation is just a little different.
Yeah.
So.
Well, thanks so much for joining us today, Ms. Kruger. We really appreciate it.
Nice to be here. Thanks again.
So as we head into the rest of August, remember, making a will and understanding elder law go hand in hand.
It's about giving your loved ones the peace of mind and keeping your wishes protected.
All right, don't move. After the break, we have the Tuesday Sports page.
That's right, and we're talking about the Commanders' loss last night. Plus, we're also talking about some Terp soccer. Please stay with us.
You've been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. You have to carefully monitor your health for the rest of your life, and you have an increased risk of developing cardiovascular disease.
Cut. Type 2, take 2.
Action. You've been diagnosed with a new purpose: to fight for the amazing life you made for yourself, to look that risk of heart disease square in the face and say, no, not me. You've been given a new opportunity to live. Get started at NoDiabetesByHeart.org.
Danny. See me after class. Okay, so, Jennifer? Yes? Okay, let me know when you're
Danny, I just got this notice from your school. We need to talk. This is important. We need to talk.
Danny, wake up! Oh, that would be Danny. Danny! Laps.
Overdosing.
When no one else knows what to do, it's gotta be you. Carry naloxone. You could save a life.
Welcome back. It's now time for our Tuesday sports page. In the preseason opener last night, the Washington Commanders lost to the Cincinnati Bengals 31-17. Jaden Daniels only played 4 snaps this game, but put on a show as he ran for a 14-yard touchdown as the pocket was collapsing on him. Washington's next possession, rookie running back Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt scored on a 27-yard run. Here's what the players had to say about their performance against the Bengals.
I see my offensive linemen doing their job, ready to block, and I can't thank those guys enough for just clearing the hole for me to be able to get my first touchdown. It was a blessing to be able to be in that position, and once I seen daylight, I was like, it's finally real, so that moment felt amazing.
I mean, effort-wise, fantastic, and, just DQ hit it at the end. It's just, those situational things, those winning time moments are, where we kind of got to get, our feedback under us and really get those into shape.
There's a few things that, obviously we wish we could get back, but that's, football, right? Football isn't a game of perfect. And, what I reiterated to a lot of young guys is like, you're not going to be perfect. But all we ask is that you go out there and play hard, play physical, because that is at the base of our, team. That's what we're about.
I'm playing football. I'm out there. I know everybody puts a big emphasis on preseason, but at the end of the day, it's a game to me, whether it's preseason, regular season, or playoffs. So have the opportunity to score. Other people probably didn't like it, but, hey, it is what it is. I mean, I want to play more, but see y'all week 1 if I don't play next week. So.
And the Commanders wrap up their preseason against the Baltimore Ravens this Sunday. Former Washington Wizards #1 overall pick and 5-time All-NBA guard John Wall has retired from the NBA after 11 seasons. John Wall helped build the Wizards into a playoff contending team during his time there as they made the postseason 4 times in 5 seasons from 2014 to 2018. Wall led the team to their first division title in 38 years. He is also the Wizards' all-time franchise leader in total assists per game, and total steals, and most importantly, a fan and franchise favorite that left a legacy in D.C. Congrats, John Wall.
Now, Terps soccer fans, we are just a couple days away from the men's team start to the season. This year, Terps squad will be looking to build off of last season, where they finished 9-6-5. And with the team's newly added head coach Sasho Servosky believes his squad can make some noise in 2025.
We've been known over the years to have a very deep team, and we've made a lot of deep runs in the tournament. I see over the last 4 or 5 years we've lacked depth. I think this is the deepest group we've had in many years, and I think once we get a few more guys healthy, I like our chances for making a good run this year.
Maryland will open up the season against Wake Forest on Thursday. All right, let's get a look at our 3-day weather forecast tonight. We'll have some patchy drizzle that will stick around until tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll have a high of 84 degrees. Thursday it'll be 77 degrees. We'll have a chance of showers between 2 and 8 p.m. Friday, the sunshine returns to kick off the weekend. We'll have a high of 81 and a low of 62.
And for our community calendar tomorrow afternoon, Council Ingrid Watson and the city of Bowie are hosting a free drive-through microchip clinic for dogs. The clinic will provide 100 free microchips to dogs of area residents, along with free dog treats, pet supplies, and training tips. This event takes place from 5 to 7:30 p.m. at Bowie City Hall. For more information, you can contact the number on your screen. And that wraps up CTV News for now. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good night.